How do you measure your impact on a community? Dollars spent? Metrics? Maybe it's something more.
For the Greater Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Apartment Association, we have over 100,000 apartment homes just within this area that people choose to be involved in our association. And I think all of us feel a deep sense of want but obligation to give back to the communities where we own and operate. If there are people who are struggling from whether it is rent assistance, if it is from a food perspective, and various other forms of a basic need, that we're willing to give back and help as much as we can, because those communities help us thrive.
The rental assistance that the Greater Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Area Apartment Owners Association provides to the Free Store allows us to support families and make sure that they're not evicted. And that way then they can stabilize their lives, make sure their kids are staying in school, but also making sure that they have a more economically mobile type of environment for them to really sustain themselves in.
Apartment Association Outreach helped us tremendously in our food pantry expansion, which really started as a labor of love. It was out of someone's closet who recognized there's a need. Students are coming in, they're saying that they're hungry, or maybe they don't know what their next meal is. And then with help of the Apartment Association, they invested in our cold storage at Edgewood and our shelving at Edgewood. So now there we have a fully functioning food pantry that's open to students but also faculty and staff. We have seen the need and the access points to that food pantry at Edgewood in particular be 10 times what it was last year this time. When we have support from community partners like Apartment Association, that is the difference between crossing the graduation stage and not.
Support from the Apartment Association helps fund our rent assistance program and our food pantry. This relationship with the Apartment Association is so important and so valued by us at Kane, because it really does help not only support families that are already experiencing poverty, but also, more importantly, preventing other families from slipping into poverty. It helps stabilize households and helps keep them whole and together as a family.
I can't tell you how many partner stories come back to us and how quickly those funds are dispersed.
With those funds, we've been able to help families that don't have access to regular resources. Like I have an immigrant family who came up from Guatemala about 2 or 3 years ago, and this is their first home. And so that was their goal for a while, is to find somewhere to live. And with those funds, we were able to get them an apartment right next door and pay for their rent and deposit. And this is their first home.
And my name is Lori Kirstein. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Left for several years, left again, came back, left again, went homeless. Came back home and called JFS for help.
When Lori contacted us, she didn't really have a home, so she came in here a lot. She did activities here and was with people that came here for some of the similar reasons. She used her food pantry, she looked for jobs. We set up a plan to see, what it is she was looking for.
When I first got here, always coming to the food bank, I always felt respected. I loved that. I loved that it didn't feel like what my nightmare vision of a food pantry would be like. It was just so loving and incredible. And then I spent time coming here and spending time during the day while I was job hunting. And while I was here, people would come in and go, "Hey, did you eat anything? Can I make you some eggs? Do you want some coffee?" And people don't know that when you go homeless, when you are really in a tough spot, there's so much shame. There's just that social idea that you're a total loser and you take it on and you're like, oh dear God. So having people be kind to you as if nothing is wrong, which is actually the case, because it doesn't define you, reminds you of that. They gave me back my self-respect. And when you go broke, and when you get into a place where you're really in trouble, this is not a culture that treats you kindly. Coming here anytime I needed to, setting up with my laptop and working, it normalized me. I got my emotional feet under me. And I think that is just as important, if not more important in the long run, as receiving any monetary help or food assistance.
You know, it's very easy to just kind of be out of sight, out of mind. And when you are involved in these communities and you see what the need is, that's why this was started, is to try to make sure that we can close the gap and help provide what we can.
So how do you measure your impact? Maybe it's in the lives you change, through the ones who provide food, a home, an education, or dignity, and the ones who land on their feet.